Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one is going to help you take your WWE Champions game to the next level. This is part 2 of my medal guide. In this one we're going to cover set bonuses and what sets might be good on what type of character. So jumping right in here, going to take a look at the takedown set. It takes 4 takedown medals to complete the set bonus. So if you look at the medal here, you see where it says set bonus and then in the brackets is 4. That's how you know how many medal types you need to get the set bonus, which follows behind it. You see the plus 15% all move damage. Now, takedown is not the best set for most characters. I am not 100% sure I will stick with it on Big E later on. However, I had a bunch of really good medals for his build, and they happen to all be in the takedown set, and he does a bunch of moves, so it was a pretty solid choice. I'll get in more into depth into what medals for what guys later. Starting out, we're just going to take a look at set bonuses and how you get them. So you need one of each type, and the types are: there's a move defense one, there's a gem defense medal, there's a move damage medal, and there's a gem damage medal. So you can only put one of each type in its specific slot, and getting 4 of them gives you the set bonus. Also, once you have the set bonus, when you go into your guy and you click on his title, it will tell you takedown plus 15% all move damage. You can also go into the stats button, and there's some nifty stuff to look at in there. My strap has a gem damage boost, 15% all move damage, and then you can look through and see your medal stats. They all show up over here. Unfortunately it doesn't add them because I have multiple black move damages, and it doesn't add them. So it doesn't add them all, but you can see them there. But this icon will let you know you have the set bonus in place. So that's the takedown. It requires 4. You can see I have 1 in each slot. And then the next one we'll look at Fury, which is going to be on my Earthquake. So Earthquake's got Fury. You can see there's 20% to all and 20% to all gem damage both. So he's got two sets, so that's 40% between those two total. Then when you look at his medals, he has one that adds 30% all gem damage. So right out the gate, he's got 70% to all gem damage with 2 set of those and this medal. This medal was very hard to get. I finally got a Fury one, and it went right on Earthquake. So you may have guessed, since I showed 4, that it only takes 2. So again, looking at the set bonus, you can see the 2 in parentheses. That means for every 2 Fury medals you have equipped, you get 20% to all gem damage. So again, we have Fury in each slot. So that's the Fury set. We'll take a look at Vitality now. Go to my Ciampa. So you can see here he has a Fury set and a Vitality set. Now you might be asking, why did I use a Vitality set on Ciampa? Well, it's pretty simple. Those were by far the best medals I had available. And we'll again get into that later when I talk about what goes well on who and why you might use one of these sets that I would label inferior. You can see the 2 pluses there are my 2 Vitality ones. This one is level 15, which happens to be an all gem damage of 30%. So that kind of makes up for not having double Fury, as that gives 30% there as opposed to the 20% set bonus on Fury. I just didn't have enough good Fury medals, so that's why I went with these two Vitality ones, which are both quite good. Ciampa has a lot of move damage, and he has a lot of gem damage with making greens, so those were pretty nice medals for him in conjunction with these two Fury medals. So again, if you look at Vitality, set bonus 2 in brackets, that means you only need 2 to get it, and 20% increase of hit points for Vitality. So there's his Fury, and there's his Vitality, 2 and 2. Next one we're going to look at is Padded, which I believe to be the worst of all of the medals. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I happen to have that on my Kane, much the same reason I have it, the Vitality on Ciampa. So Padded 20% to all move defense, Fury 20% all gem damage, and you can see I have 2 Furies here and here, and 2 Padded. So Padded again is a 2-set bonus for 20% all gem damage, and again the reason is I have one of those 30% all gem damage ones. Now you have to get it to level 15 to get that, and that requires a lot of metal parts, a lot. So that's the Padded ones. Lowers move defense by 20%, and the last one we'll look at will be Armor. Go to my Dango here. 20% all gem defense times 2. Get in here and look at it. Got 4 of the medals. So set bonus, again 2 in brackets. That's how you know you only need 2. 20% all gem damage defense. I have 4, so that gives me 40. Combine it with this, that puts me at 63. Throw a Honky Tonk Man on there, and that's 83%, I believe, gem reduction. Oh, sorry, 93. So that again is how you tell how much bonuses you have, what it takes to get them. So from here, I'm going to talk about what sets might go well on what type of characters. So obviously a very defensive guy like Dango with Protect Gems, the all gem defense is very important, very, very good. It takes his ability is being defensive with the Protect Gems, making it hard for people to kick out. So by doing 2 of these, it's essentially taking advantage of his best ability, his best moveset, what he's built for. Similar ones that would be good with that would be a guy like Typhoon, who puts big Protect Gems out, and anyone else like that. So like Harlem Heat, Booker T, etc., etc. Now, again, when you're doing these stats and buffing them, try to do as much as you can to take advantage of them. So focus on one guy first for each particular set. Instead of spreading yourself out thin, try and get one amazing set on someone. So like I said, Dango, if you've watched me, you guys know I use a lot. So we have the 40%. And then the 13% here, so that's 53% gem damage reduction. And then Honky Tonk Man is 30% for 83%. You can also sometimes get that as a substat, which I don't know if any. Here's all gem defense of 32. And there's the substat of all gem defense, 2.49%. So I'm at about 85% on my Dango. If I had a tier 4, this would be 20% instead of 13 if it was maxed at a tier 4. And be rocking about a 92% gem defense, making it super hard to kick out between that and Honky Tonk Man. So again, armor, those are going to go best on defensive style guys. You can put them on other guys because it makes it harder to kick out. So I'm not saying to only do that. I'm just saying the way I look at it is trying to make guys' strengths and make them stronger. So I will try to put defense armor medals on protect gem style guys and that type of thing. Now we can look at my Breeze here. So he's doing double fury. Actually, let's go to Earthquake first because he's got an excellent set on him. So Earthquake, his moves in general, one, he's a powerhouse, so lots of gem damage to begin with, and two, his moves are destroying a lot of gems, and he's got this buff that buffs all your gem damage by 50%. So whether you're using the yellow build to blow up the board or the green build to drop a bunch of reds and then destroy a bunch of gems, either way, he's got this buff that buffs your gem damage by 50% for 2 turns. That happens to stack on top of the Fury damage after it's in game, so it gets quite large. So he is one of the best guys in the game to use Fury for, in my opinion, and based on the math. So he's got 40% just with those, and then this medal gives him 30%. It's pretty amazing medal if you can get a Fury all gem damage percentage. That is like, that's your goal. That's the key for that. Just like it would be for Dango, a tier 4 armor all gem defense. After that, the subset medals, I mean, you always I try to always get percentage ones at 4-star gold. Maxed out characters, percentage is always better than flat. So ideally, you'd have a percentage in all of these, and I do in all of them except for the move defense. And if I had to skimp on one, this would probably be the one I would do it. I don't know that I have anything better since I put that on. This is a tier 3. And it has blue move damage, so I could maybe switch that out, but it's not really worth it to me. So once you get the medals you want, you can start looking for good substats. Basically, for a guy doing a bunch of gem damage like Earthquake, red would be his best. But after that, anything adding gem damage will be pretty good for when he's blowing up the board. So you can see this one has yellow gem damage on it, some green, some purple. There's some red. This is a really nice one. Tier 3 medal right here. Pretty much perfect tier 3. I mean, you get a little bit better with this stat, the black move damage in this one, but very good tier 3 for Earthquake. And this one's nothing spectacular. That would be a great one to replace. So, I mean, ideally you have a good set bonus, but what happens when you don't have enough to go around for your team? So Earthquake is one of those guys where all Fury, 20% is very, very good. Another guy like that would be Kane with gear. So my Kane, I didn't have enough good Fury medals to go around. So instead of that, I chose padded. And the only reason I chose padded was because I had this particular all gem damage medal. It also had red move damage and black gem damage on it too, which is one of Kane's secondary. Yellow and black are his next 2 highest behind red. So that's a really good medal for him. And I just combined it with the other decent padded I had, which was all move defense and yellow gem damage and red gem damage because it buffs him. I haven't checked recently. I may have got a better one since then. So while this is more move defense, it's not more gem damage. And since we're focusing on Kane blowing up the board, I probably wouldn't switch that. Nothing too exciting there, but all of them haven't been unlocked. Neither has this one. So this is a potential pretty solid one that I might look at using to replace that. Yellow move damage for when he uses his yellow move, some red gem damage, not much. So again, when you're doing these, don't necessarily just throw away all of your padded. I save my tier 4s. I'm a bit of a hoarder, and anything that looks like it might be good. I even save some takedown. A lot of people throw those away. It's worked out pretty well with Big E. If you ever run Randy Orton, I could see takedown being really good for him. And obviously Hall of Fame Scott Hall. Ciampa's black moveset, black, green, has a very, very heavy finisher and some pretty high damage black moves. So he could potentially, if you don't have Rizar, but you have Ciampa, you know, takedown would be good on him. Big E takedown is really solid on because he's doing a bunch of moves and they're all pretty decent damage. In fact, we'll take a look at him now. Go back to Big E and check him out. So like I said, takedown, it takes 4, so in the grand scheme of things, I'd probably be better off having like double fury. However, this 15% extra damage is kind of nice considering the moveset I use with Big E. He's doing a bunch of moves. You can see this one at 11 is 27k. This blue is 14k. This one doesn't show, but I believe it's around 18 or 19k right now. So pretty heavy move damage, and you're doing like a lot of times 4 to 5 moves each turn, sometimes 6 with Big E. So when you're doing that many moves, that move damage adds up. And then when you look at the substats on these medals, they were just going to sit there. I wasn't going to use them because I wouldn't use takedown on anyone else. So let's start here. Black move damage. Bam. Blue move damage right there. So that's a bunch of extra damage on the substats. All gem defense. Really good one. None of the rest of them are particularly useful. Purple gem damage can be useful for him. You go here, and again, black move damage a couple times. Plus, it was a tier 4 all move damage medal. So ideally, in this case, I would look for a blue move damage medal and slot that, because at tier 4, those are 30%. So if I ever get a takedown blue move damage medal, that would be 30% to both of his blue moves, and that's the one I would go with there. Or if you're doing Fury, if you had one of those for Fury, then maybe you move back to the Fury set, because he does blow up a decent amount of gems too. So here's his all gem damage, and again, we have blue move damage and black move damage. So that's the big reason I went with this set, is because the substats were so good. I mean, I'm adding, what, that's almost 8% more black there, 4% blue, another 6%, so we got like 14% extra black and 9% extra blue on top of 15% to all. So, you know, you start cranking that up 25-30% on each of those colors, and then the set bonus of 15, you know, starts doing a lot of damage. It's pretty solid. So that's why I went with that on Big E. And Ciampa is much the same reason as Kane with the vitality. So being that I had the really good medal. So again, don't throw them all away. The best medals for sure are Fury and the armor defense. Especially the armor defense you want to use in conjunction with Honky Tonk Man to really take advantage of it. So really Fury is probably the one you'll use most often, but having enough good Fury metals to go around is not very likely. You can see I have a bunch and almost all of them are flats, so there's really, going through these, they're all flat gem damage, not the percentages, which is what you're really looking for. Breeze is kind of a, where is he at? A little bit of exception. I didn't have really good off color or off, not color, but off stat ones like a padded, like a vitality. So I did do double fury for him. I had a tier 3 all gem damage, which is quite nice because it also has black damage on it and yellow. Nothing particularly amazing there, although it does have yellow gem damage, and then blue move damage. His solo build uses blue moves, one of his solo builds. This one I went with because it's got, again, black gem damage, and here's some more yellow gem damage. So not the most amazing metals, but also not bad, and it gives him that set bonus with the 40%. So and then this one another 13%. So it doesn't always have to be the best ones. If you're using like a guy and you still don't have 4 good metals, throw whatever on him. My Mankind, I have a Fury set on him just strictly for the bonus. There's a level 2, there's a level 3 unleveled, and it's simply to give him a little more gem damage. So a lot of ways you can go with your metals. Fury and armor are the best. Padded is probably the worst, along with takedown, but there are a few guys that takedown is pretty dang good for. Vitality's okay. I'd rather reduce my damage with the armor though than have more hit points, so take that for what it's worth. So that's kind of set bonuses and really metal bonuses and how I look at doing things with metals. Try and take a guy strong suit and make it stronger. So your offensive guys, your strikers, your powerhouses, things like that. Definitely the Fury on them makes them finish really, really fast, hit really, really hard. A lot of your other guys, though, Fury can be a big difference. If you know, the tricksters, the technicians that maybe don't have a ton of gem damage to begin with, that really gives them a little more oomph and helps them do really well. If you got a guy like Kofi, which I don't, gem damage on him would be really funny. I know a lot of people run him armor and Honky Tonk Man too, because he doesn't really need the trainer. He's one of those guys that could go either way with it. So yeah, again, guys like Typhoon, using the armor, like for all gem defense. I only have 2 on mine so far. Not particularly amazing ones, but you know, every little bit helps. So do that kind of stuff with your metals, and I think you'll go a long way. I only save my tier 4s and then my tier 3 percentage metals. I throw pretty much all my tier 3 flats away except for Fury and a few armor ones just to fill in. So I hope that helped. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If I need to go more in depth, then maybe I'll make a part 3 metal guide if I miss too much stuff that you guys want answers to. So, you know, like, share, subscribe, join my Discord. Ask questions if you have them. I'm still learning metals like everyone else. This is just my take on it. So, anyway, hope this helped, guys. Hope you enjoy the video, and good luck out there.